what West Ham have done is incredible in Europe. It's absolutely incredible. And all I can say is, West Ham now look like a European team. Let me, I might sound silly. You might be thinking, well, of course we look like a bloody European team. We won the Conference League last year. I think I used to watch European games. I think it probably started when the Italians were really, really good, when the best teams in Europe were all Italian. And then it sort of had a little switch, didn't it? And I think Spain took over for a while, and it was, you always felt that they were a little bit more wily, the Continentals, the Europeans, a little bit more savvy. Maybe just the darker arts. They were a little bit better at that. And some of it I didn't like, by the way, the darker arts. The diving I don't like. I didn't like it when I saw Paqueta do his bit of histrionics in the game against Freiburg. I didn't like it. However, English teams were so bad at it, there was a naivety. And forget West Ham, because I'm not talking about watching West Ham in Europe. I'm talking, you might watch one of the other English teams and they'd play in Europe. And sometimes an English team would come up against an Inter Milan or a Real Madrid or whatever the case may be, and they just get done. The other team would time waste. They'd play the referee better. They would defend better as well. The European teams were just much better at defending. And I think you put those combinations of, these other guys can win free kicks and they can defend. And I'm not suggesting you do so. I'm not suggesting you do go back and watch that Freiburg game again. But if you did, what you'd see at the start of that game is West Ham winning all the free kicks and killing time whilst doing so. And I'm not saying every single one was a dive. Not at all. We would buy the free kick. And I'm sure someone would disprove me with some stats at some point there. But it felt to me like in that first half, West Ham got all the free kicks and every stoppage in play, West Ham got it. And Freiburg didn't get hardly anything. That's how it felt. And if it felt for me, when it's your team getting the favourable calls, you know what it's like when you feel like the referee's against you? That must have been. Fair play to the Freiburg fans, really. I know they didn't have any competition in the singing stakes, but fair play to them. They were 1-0 down. They just kept on singing. And I did feel that West Ham's game management was excellent. But that's a very European thing, that game management. And we look like a seasoned European side. And I guess that should come as no surprise because, hey, you know what? We are a seasoned European side now. Semi-final year before last year winning. Now we're in it. We have the record for an English team in Europe now. Amazing, isn't it? Isn't it amazing? And I know there'll be other bigger clubs who'll say, well, hold on, that doesn't count. You did it in smaller competitions. Well, yeah, okay, but we also did it with far less money than those big clubs get to spend as well. And actually, I'd suggest while selling some players as well. So I'll take it. I'll take it. And I'm very impressed and I'm actually really proud about it. But as it was during the game management, I thought, wow, we really look savvy. We look clued up. There was a number of players who just looked like they were suited to it. Aguerd being one of them. Alvarez possibly, well, I was going to say none more so than Alvarez. There was a couple, probably even more so than Alvarez. But the way that Alvarez, Paqueta and Kudus won free kicks and killed the game when they needed to. And you might have heard in my video yesterday, I think momentum-wise, Kudus killed a few of our attacks. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about winning the ball back and winning a foul, putting your body in the right position, playing the referee. They looked so good at it. I mean, so good at it. And I thought Aguerd was pretty good at it. But those three, Paqueta, Edson Alvarez and Kudus, looked just like wily old foxes, just the game up there. I thought when Emerson came on, we saw a bit more of that as well. Seasoned European campaigners. And I couldn't help but watching West Ham thinking, we've become that team that I used to watch, be it the Italian team or whatever, that was a pain in the arse to play against. That's us now. That's West Ham. I'm pretty damn proud of that. It has to be said. I spoke about some of the other teams in last night's video, be it Brighton or whoever else. And you cannot underestimate how difficult it is to play Thursday, Sunday, or whatever, Wednesday, Saturday, it's all the same. To keep doing that. And I think seasoned is a good word because I've always felt that those big clubs are seasoned at it. And I know Man United I know they're in Europe, but I know they might not be having the best run at the moment, but they're still a seasoned European team. Liverpool, they're a seasoned European team. Decade after decade of doing it. It becomes in the infrastructure of that club. Everyone knows about these 2 games a week, and they just do it, and they churn them out, and it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, Newcastle got a really impressive result against PSG, didn't they? Really impressive result, of course. But we don't know if they can do it. They don't know if they're going to have to learn it. Maybe he'll do it. Maybe like David Moyes, Eddie Howe will just do it. David Moyes seems to be a natural at it, and he has from the moment he qualified for Europe at West Ham. It's worked for him. Maybe Eddie Howe will be like that. But it ain't easy. It's not easy to win midweek and then win at the weekend again. Maybe we'll be after the Newcastle game, it's them that have done it. Maybe it's them that beat PSG and they beat us. But maybe, just maybe, it's us that beat Freiburg and then we beat Newcastle. Might be a draw and none of that's true. But it's not an easy thing to do. And I think you've got to have that sort of, that cerebral thought process going into it where you can be a bit crafty, where you can, it's not just con the referee, because it's actually sometimes just exaggerating the foul. And I'm not talking about Paqueta's dive. I think that was nonsense. That's crap. I'd rather not see it. But it's turning that little touch into the bigger one. And you know what? I'm not advocating cheating, but for years I felt that the European teams were doing it to the English teams, and now I feel we're like that. I feel like we're one of those teams, and that the set pieces have just given us this extra bit, which now is, we are tough to break down. I thought Fabianski had one big save to make, and he should have had another one, but the guy blazed it over the bar. But even if you take that into account, there weren't massive amounts of shots on target from the opposition. And that's if you can do that and you can keep the opposition at bay, and you're a threat every time you go down the other end, because even if you don't score a goal, like we saw with Bowen, it gets deflected, because I think it was Bowen's shot. I think that we scored our second goal because Kudus crossed it to Bowen and his header got deflected, which gave us a corner. We scored a goal. So if you pose a threat as the opposition team, and then if that threat manifests itself in either, a goal itself, or you get in a corner, and you've got someone like James Ward-Prowse and these giants, at the point where Aguerd scored, I mean, it can't have been easy when you're thinking you've got Alvarez is not small, by the way, but you don't pick him out as one of the big guys. You've got Alvarez in there, Souček, Aguerd, and Mavropanos. There's just too many. There's too many big guys to mark, really. So it means other people are going to be left unmarked. And if you've got that in your armoury, then you're a formidable European team. And I think particularly at our level, the very top level, those other clubs, Man City and Real Madrid, clearly. You've seen Real Madrid play, and you look at Vinicius Jr. and our Bellingham, he was at it again, wasn't he, the other night, Bellingham, and Valverde. I mean, those guys, there's a swashbuckle to those teams, right? But aside from those super clubs, and I mean super clubs, and you look at that sort of next run down, if they're the 5-star clubs, your 4-star clubs, I think we're there. I think in terms of that, there are very few teams in Europe who would relish playing West Ham. I mean, there might be 10 of them, but there's probably less than 10 clubs like that. And to be fair, all those clubs are probably in the top league, all bar one, which is possibly Liverpool. I think we did too badly against them, to be perfectly honest with you. So anyway, it was just amazing. It was amazing to watch that game unfold. Particularly, I can't go back on what I said, which is at the start before the game. I said, this is going to be our toughest challenge in the group. And there it is. We did it. We've gone away with no fans on a crappy pitch. And it kept on the divots, and it kept on, anyone would slide on it. The sort of turf had come. It looked like, maybe they had just relayed it, but it looked, I'm no groundsman, right? But it looked like the grass hadn't sort of bonded with the soil, so to speak. So, yeah, it was not easy. I don't think it's an easy surface to play on. It's come away from there with no fans in the stadium, away from home against a German team who are well established with an experienced manager, and to see off their little bit of play that they're always going to have because they were the home team. When they swarmed us for 15 minutes, to see that off, and to make the substitutions and then see the game out in a fashion that you want to, whilst resting some key players and dealing with an injury, which is Antonio, and resting Zuma and so on and so forth. It's pretty damn impressive, really. So there you go. West Ham United, a bona fide European team. And you know, I say it fully in the knowledge that, you know, it could come back and bite me on the arse. But I mean, it looks good, doesn't it? Let's be honest. It looks good for qualification from the group. It really does. 6 points to 9. 9 doesn't guarantee you, but well, you know, the other two, TSC and Olympiacos drawing, probably helps in that. But I think we're out of the group again. Not mathematically, but we all do it. I think, you know, I would be so ultra cautious to say anything other than that. I wouldn't be being true to myself, and I just think it's absolute miracle. And I don't mind, and that's why I said yesterday, I do not mind. I do not mind how we win this game. I don't care. I don't care. Just like, do you know what? I don't care that we don't care how we played in the Conference League final. I don't care. Honestly, in Europe, I couldn't care less. I just like being involved, and I like the European competition. That's a big shift from me. I always thought it was a little bit Mickey Mouse. I wasn't particularly interested. I'll tell you why I wasn't interested, and I used to say it every time Gio used to ask me. I used to say, well, I don't think we've got the squad for it. I think it'll put too much strain on the squad. I think there's no way we can do well in the league. I think, you know, we'll get relegated or whatever the stuff I used to say. It's not the case. I was proven wrong. We can do it. We can compete in Europe and do well in the league. There's no reason why not. Anyway, before I say too much, proof of pudding in the tasting against Newcastle. There you go. But well done, West Ham. Well done, David Moyes. Well done, the squad. Well done, the tea lady. Well done, bloody everyone, quite frankly. You know, for 17 games, getting the record. And it was certainly... It was Tottenham, they said, and Don Revie's Leeds. Possibly those were the record holders on 16 games. We got 17. It's brilliant.